Our increasing dependence on cell phones and technology has a profound effect on the way our brains function, particularly concerning the regulation of dopamine, a neurotransmitter pivotal to our pleasure and reward systems. This dependence is even more pronounced in children and adolescents, who are typically more adept at navigating these digital realms. They use their devices for a myriad of activities, ranging from seeking information to fulfilling their need for stimulation and entertainment. However, this constant and often unchecked engagement with technology poses significant risks. The ceaseless interaction with screens and digital content leads to a state where disconnecting from these devices becomes challenging. It's as if the technology, with its constant pings and flashes of new content, exerts a form of ownership over a part of our cognitive and emotional self. This persistent stimulation profoundly impacts the brain's dopamine pathways. Dopamine, known as the feel good neurotransmitter, plays a crucial role in how we experience pleasure and reward. It motivates us to repeat behaviors that are rewarding. However, in the context of technology use, especially with cell phones, this dopamine release can become dysregulated. The instant gratification and constant novelty offered by these devices trigger the release of dopamine in a manner that is abnormally frequent and intense compared to non digital experiences. This overstimulation of the dopamine system can lead to a recalibration of the brain's response to pleasure. In simple terms, the more we use our devices for stimulation, the more our brains get used to high levels of dopamine. This recalibration has several implications. Firstly, it raises the threshold for what is considered stimulating or rewarding. Activities that once brought pleasure, such as reading a book, playing outdoors, or even engaging in face to face conversations, may no longer provide the same level of satisfaction. This shift can lead to a preference for digital interaction over real world experiences, further entrenching the dependency on technology. Moreover, this over reliance on digital devices for dopamine release begins to shape behavior. Children and adults alike may find themselves compulsively checking their phones, seeking the next hit of stimulation. This behavior pattern is akin to other forms of addictive behaviors, where the pursuit of a dopamine induced high becomes a driving force behind actions. The longer term effects of this dynamic are significant. Over time, the brain's dopamine receptors may start to diminish in response to constant overstimulation. This reduction in receptors means that the same level of activity or content on a device that once elicited pleasure no longer does so. It creates a cycle where more and more stimulation is required to achieve the same dopamine high, leading to even greater reliance on digital devices. Excessive use of cell phones and video games has become a prevalent issue, particularly among younger generations. This overuse is not a harmless habit. It triggers a significant overload of dopamine in the brain. Dopamine, often referred to as the pleasure chemical, plays a crucial role in how we experience joy, satisfaction, and reward. When activities like playing video games or engaging with cell phones release excessive amounts of dopamine, it disrupts the normal functioning of the brain's reward system. This disruption leads to a recalibration of the brain's response to pleasurable stimuli. The brain becomes accustomed to the high levels of dopamine released during these activities, setting a new, higher threshold for pleasure. As a result, activities that would normally elicit a sense of pleasure or satisfaction no longer have the same effect. The brain, having adapted to higher dopamine levels, now requires more intense stimulation to achieve similar feelings of enjoyment or reward. This shift in the brain's reward system has profound implications. It means that simpler, more traditional sources of joy, such as spending time in nature, engaging in hobbies, or connecting with family and friends, may lose their appeal. These activities, which typically provide moderate but meaningful dopamine releases, no longer meet the recalibrated threshold set by the overuse of technology. Consequently, individuals may find themselves feeling uninterested or unmotivated to participate in these once enjoyable activities. The condition resulting from this recalibration is known as anhedonia, a state characterized by the inability to feel pleasure. Anhedonia is a significant concern as it affects a person's overall well being and quality of life. It leads to a loss of interest in activities that were previously enjoyed, impacting relationships, work, and general health. In severe cases, anhedonia can contribute to depressive symptoms as individuals struggle to find joy and satisfaction in their daily lives. Moreover, the constant need for higher levels of stimulation can create a dependency, like behavior towards technology, just as with substance addictions, where individuals need increasing amounts to achieve the same high. People addicted to technology find themselves spending more time on their devices, seeking more stimulating content, and becoming increasingly detached from the real world. This recalibration of the brain's reward system also impacts learning and development, especially in children and adolescents. As their brains are still developing, the constant overstimulation can interfere with the natural maturation of their reward systems. It can hinder their ability to find motivation and satisfaction in educational settings or in developing social skills through real life interactions. The addictive nature of technology, particularly its impact on children's learning abilities, is becoming increasingly evident. As children become more immersed in the digital world, their brains adapt to the high levels of stimulation offered by video games, social media, and other digital content. This constant exposure to intense visual and auditory stimuli can cause a desensitization effect where less stimulating traditional forms of learning fail to engage them effectively. This desensitization poses a considerable challenge, especially within educational settings where the nature of information delivery is often less dynamic compared to digital media. In traditional classroom environments where learning typically involves more gradual and methodical processes, children accustomed to the rapid and intense stimuli of digital technology may find it hard to engage. Their brains, having been rewired to expect high levels of stimulation, may perceive the classroom activities as dull or unengaging. This mismatch between their conditioned expectations and the reality of traditional learning environments can lead to a significant decline in attention, engagement, and consequently, learning efficacy. Furthermore, this desensitization can manifest in behaviors that seek arousal in less productive or even disruptive ways. Children, unable to find the stimulation they crave in educational settings, might resort to behaviors such as acting out, becoming restless, or seeking attention through negative means. These behaviors are often a subconscious attempt to recreate the levels of stimulation they have become accustomed to through technology use. This situation not only impacts the individual child's learning and development, but also affects the classroom dynamics. Teachers may find it increasingly challenging to maintain students' attention and to foster a productive learning environment. The traditional educational methodologies, which rely on sustained attention and engagement, become less effective for a generation that is wired to respond to the instant gratification and high stimulation of the digital world. Mitigating the negative effects of technology overuse fundamentally lies in mastering the art of self regulation of emotional states. This skill, pivotal in the current digital age, involves an individual's ability to consciously manage and alter their emotional responses. Through self regulation, people can learn to identify and modify negative emotions like resentment, frustration, or anxiety, and cultivate more positive, elevated emotions such as joy, gratitude, or contentment. Self regulation is more than just a mental exercise. It's a holistic practice that harmonizes the body's internal systems. The constant barrage of stimuli from technology can create a state of chronic arousal or stress in the body, disrupting its natural balance. By learning to self regulate, individuals can counteract these effects. This process involves recognizing when one is experiencing negative emotions and consciously choosing to shift to a more positive emotional state. This shift can help reduce stress, improve mood, and enhance overall well being. Moreover, this practice can effectively reduce the dependency on external sources of stimulation, such as digital devices. As individuals become more adept at managing their emotional states, they are less likely to seek gratification or emotional relief from technology. This skill can be particularly valuable for children and adolescents whose developing brains are more susceptible to the effects of digital overstimulation. Teaching them to self regulate can help them develop healthier relationships with technology, making them less prone to its addictive allure. Self regulation also plays a crucial role in reversing the conditioning caused by an over reliance on technology. Just as the brain can be trained to depend on digital devices for emotional satisfaction, it can also be retrained to find joy and fulfillment in more intrinsic, healthier activities. This retraining involves consistent practice in identifying negative thought patterns and emotional responses and consciously choosing to replace them with more positive, constructive alternatives. Additionally, the ability to self regulate emotional states has far reaching implications beyond technology use. It enhances resilience, enabling individuals to better cope with stress and adversity. It fosters greater emotional intelligence, improving interpersonal relationships and social interactions. Moreover, it promotes a deeper sense of inner peace and contentment as individuals learn to find joy and satisfaction within themselves rather than relying on external sources. The modern routine of starting the day with our cell phones has become almost reflexive for most people. This immediate connection to a digital world immerses us in a familiar network of stimuli, social media updates, emails, news, and messages. This habit sets a tone for the day where external digital inputs heavily influence our emotional and mental states. The constant influx of information and interaction can lead to a reactionary mode of living where our thoughts and feelings are largely dictated by the digital content we consume. This cycle of allowing technology to control our emotions and thoughts can be detrimental to our overall well being. It can create a sense of being perpetually reactive rather than proactive, leaving us feeling drained and uncentered. However, we can disrupt this pattern by consciously choosing to engage in different morning routines. Instead of reaching for the phone first thing upon waking, we can cultivate habits that promote a more intentional start to the day. Practicing mindfulness is one such alternative. Mindfulness involves being present and fully engaged with the current moment without judgment. It can be as simple as spending a few minutes in silence, focusing on our breath, or engaging in a brief meditation session. This practice allows us to center ourselves, reduces stress, and sets a calm, composed tone for the rest of the day. Setting positive intentions for the day is another powerful morning routine. This involves taking a few moments to reflect on our goals and aspirations for the day and visualizing ourselves achieving them. By doing this, we align our thoughts and energies with our objectives, creating a mindset geared towards productivity and positivity. Engaging in physical activities like yoga, stretching, or a morning walk can also be beneficial. These activities not only improve physical health, but also help in clearing the mind, boosting mood, and increasing energy levels. They provide a healthy, invigorating start to the day, as opposed to the passive and often sedentary act of scrolling through a phone. Additionally, cultivating the habit of journaling in the morning can be a transformative practice. Writing down thoughts, feelings, and reflections from the previous day or setting down goals and affirmations for the current day can provide clarity, focus, and a sense of purpose. It encourages a reflective and thoughtful mindset rather than a reactive one. In essence, by deliberately choosing how we start our day, we can gain significant control over our emotional and mental well being. Integrating mindful practices into our morning routines can help us break free from the cycle of allowing technology to dictate our day. This shift not only enhances our personal productivity and mood, but also contributes to a more balanced and fulfilling life.